The notification chimed just as the pot of collard greens gave its second impatient bubble, and the sweet tea began to sweat on the counter. You have a close family match. That line slid across my phone like it had good shoes on, quiet, confident, ready to be believed. I was standing there in my kitchen, steam blurring the lenses of my glasses, thinking about whether to add a pinch more red pepper to the pot, when the words stitched themselves to my pulse. I bought the kit because my cousin Laverne swore up and down that spitting into a plastic tube could stitch you back to people who once cooked with wood and measured salt by memory. You'll find old folks with your forehead, she told me, patting mine like a family Bible. Names that taste like Sunday. I wanted to bring those names to my son, Jordan, with recipes and dates and small histories he could hold when the world made him doubt he belonged. I wanted roots, not thunder. The app opened to a young face, almond eyes, a shy smile that tugged one corner higher than the other. Danielle M. Possible relationships, niece, half-sibling, grandchild. Grandchild made no earthly sense. My boy is 9, still losing baby teeth like a magician who knows where the coins go. Half-siblings would have been Mama's secret or Daddy's resurrection, and neither was available to explain themselves. I have one brother, Marcus, who treats commitment like a sweater he can't stop tugging at. But the shared matches tab, the one with neat little lines drawn like polite fences, showed something else. Danielle linked to me and to Andre, my husband. Now life doesn't shatter all at once, not in a good house on a Friday. It cracks in small noises, the spoon knocking the pot, the refrigerator's tired little sigh, the clock in the dining room suddenly remembering it owns seconds. I stood with my thumb pressed white against the phone and watched the lines connect like bruise-colored thread. From the living room, Jordan hummed the theme to his cartoon. He wears his socks wrong on purpose, one navy, one with small basketballs. He has a cow lick that makes its own decisions. These are the details you notice when a sentence threatens your life. Your eyes hold to the petty proofs that the world is still the world. The front door opened at 7:12 p.m. Andre was late, but not newly so. He kissed my cheek and Jordan's head, washed his hands, and rolled his sleeves the way he does when he chooses usefulness over performance. We ate pot roast and cornbread and greens that could win arguments. Conversation was a gentle river. Jordan's science experiment, baking soda and vinegar doing fireworks in a cup. Andre's story about a client who wanted champagne results with a soda budget. My small victory at the clinic, getting the fax machine to behave like it was raised right. All the while, the little rectangle of light sat face down on the counter like a guest I didn't trust to be polite. After dishes and bath and blessing and the small mountain of Jordan under his blanket, I pressed the phone into Andre's palm at the table by the window, where the street light cuts a square onto our floor. "Do you know her?" I asked. Andre squinted. His shoulders softened like he was peering at a cousin at a wedding, deciding if the memory from a barbecue was real. Then his face arranged itself the way people straighten a picture that still hangs crooked. "No," he said. "Those apps are messy. False positives happen all the time." "Maybe," I said, pouring tea because something warm and steeped can coax a truth out of a person. "But the app thinks she's close to me." "And to you. He gave me the smile he saves for a thunderstorm he thinks will skirt the city." "Let's not jump. Let's sit," I answered. We sat. The tea breathed in little curls between us. I asked for the truth. He rinsed a cup that wasn't dirty, turned it in his hands like a prayer wheel, and said the sentence men say when their bodies know a thing their mouths can't yet release. "I love you." "I didn't ask that," I said gently. "Do you know a situation that would explain her?" He shook his head. Maya, I wouldn't." He stopped like the word wouldn't have turned traitor in his throat. "I don't know her," he repeated softer. That night we shared a bed with a country between us. He slept like men sleep when their bones are holding something. I stared at the ceiling, watched the streetlight draw its square of borrowed moon, and practiced saying a name I hadn't earned. Danielle. Morning comes even to houses with secrets. The kettle clicks, the toast burns one corner. The dog next door patrols his fence like he was hired for it. I made Jordan's lunch, cut his apple thin the way he likes, kissed his forehead, and told him to be brave during the spelling test. At the clinic, Tuesdays stack like plates. I am the clinic coordinator. Paperwork and pause, a little Spanish here, a little grandmother there. The cashier's drawer of compassion never allowed to run low. A teenager needed more than a pamphlet and a referral. An uncle needed someone to translate insurance into human. A grandmother needed her blood pressure cuff explained in a tone that reminded her of her sister in Mobile. I let their needs be louder than mine, and thanked God for jobs that can drown a fear with usefulness. But at lunch, in the stairwell where the light is always a little blue and everything echoes your heart back to you, I opened the app again. Close family, approximately 25-50% shared DNA. The words were neutral as a thermometer and twice as cruel. I scrolled until the shared match lines made a shape I could read without pretending. They spelled we already know. I did not call Andre. I did not call Laverne. I messaged the girl's guardian through the app instead. Because grown folks should manage grown folks before they lay a burden on a child. Hello, Danielle, and guardian. My name is Maya. The app shows a close match between us. I want to move carefully with everyone's heart, especially Danielle's. Would you be open to a brief meeting in a public place? No pressure. My priority is kindness and clarity. Maya. The reply came the next morning at 8:13 when the birds were arguing on the power line like they pay the bill. Hi Maya, I'm Alicia. I manage Danielle's account. She's asked questions about her dad. We're local. Marble and Pine Cafe, 4 p.m. tomorrow. We'll sit by the window. I told no one. I went to work and made the copy machine behave again, like I had magic and good soap. After school, Jordan did homework at the kitchen table, tongue peeking out at the corner of his mouth like a small flag of concentration. Andre texted, running late. 7:30 latest. My phone buzzed with a new app message. Danielle M. has added a location. 20 minutes away. Not a far-off cousin. Not a ghost. A girl in our weather. Marble and Pine smells like milk frost and reclaimed wood, like people who believe a good mug can hold you together. When I stepped in, I saw them immediately at the window. Alicia, mid-30s, protective tired eyes, a posture made of resolve, and the girl, Danielle, with her ponytail tied in a scrunchie the color of a robin's egg. She stood when I reached the table. That small courtesy almost broke me. Maya? Alicia's voice had a slight rasp like a singer after a long set. Thank you for the tone of your message. Thank you for meeting, I said. Hi, Danielle. Hi, she whispered, making her bravery a small bird that still decided to fly. We ordered tea. The barista drew foam swans I didn't need. I spoke first, slow like we were unwrapping something fragile together. I'll go gentle, I said. The app says we share close DNA. It also shows a match to my husband, Andre. Alicia's mouth went flat, then softened like it remembered mercy. I dated an Andre, she said, years back. He said he wasn't ready to be a husband or a father. We were careful, except the night we weren't. When I told him I was pregnant, he said he was seeing someone seriously. He sent money twice. Then he disappeared into that polite kind of silence that lets women do all the hard parts. How old is Danielle? I asked, though my bones already knew the calendar. 15, Alicia said. Mr. Andre and I celebrated 16 years in August. May is 2 months after an anniversary, when a woman is still learning how the house will hold. Did he know? I asked. I told him. Her voice didn't shake. I chose not to chase. Danielle had been watching our words like a tennis match. She toyed with her paper sleeve, rolled it into a string, and unrolled it. Is he nice? She asked suddenly. Your husband. There is a kind of truth you can't answer with a single word. I thought of Andre reading bedtime stories with voices, building our lopsided bookshelf, kissing Jordan's cheeks, holding my hand under a table at a funeral. and lying through a smile at our kitchen table last night. He can be, I said. He can also make a mess of the truth and take too long to admit it. She nodded like she recognized the species. Alicia reached into her tote and pulled out a folder. She slid a birth certificate copy toward me and a faded photo. Alicia, younger, holding a baby outside a brick building. The corner showed the edge of a navy polo I once bought because it made Andre's skin throw light. A small sound left me, something between a confession and a cough. "I'm not here to tear your life up," Alicia said gently. "She wants to know where she comes from. If you walk away, we'll close this book. If you want to build something slow and safe, we can try." "Slow and safe," I repeated, letting the words choose a room in my mouth. "I can do that." At home, the light was that late afternoon gold that makes sins look like they want to be forgiven. Jordan did a Lego city with an improbable canal. Andre stirred tomato sauce like the spoon was a metronome to keep him steady. "I met Alicia and Danielle," I said. "She's 15. She lives 20 minutes away. She knows almost nothing except that her father wasn't ready." Andre stilled, and then I watched a man decide he would not run. He sat. "Is she?" "Yes," I said. The word landed with a ring that would not stop widening. "She is yours." His hands went to his face and fell again, a man trying not to hide and failing toward honesty. "I am sorry," he said. The sentence came out like something heavy set down with both palms. "I hear you," I said. "But our next steps are not about your apology. They are about a girl who has waited too long for the word father not to be a bruise." We tucked Jordan in. We stood in the hallway that separates rooms and untruths. I pulled a yellow legal pad and drew a line down the center. Danielle exists. She is 15. That matches her to both of us. Alicia told you back then. You mailed money twice. Then you mailed silence paternity test. Paper is more honest than memory. No contact without. Alicia's consent and Danielle's no sudden dad. She names the relationship when she's ready. Consistency. Over grand gestures, Jordan learns what concerns him from us. Gently, separate rooms until trust has furniture. Andre read like a student called to the board. "I agree," he said. Gratitude crossed his face like a cloud shading a field. The test was booked for breakfast. At the clinic, the nurse swabbed with practical tenderness. "Results in about a week," she said, sealing envelopes like letters to our future. "In the meantime, tell the truth and drink water." "That's free." We agreed to a short meeting before the results. Library atrium, public, safe. I sat off to the side with a notebook and a pen that doesn't click because nerves shouldn't have a soundtrack. Andre arrived early. He asked if he could sit. Alicia nodded. Danielle looked at him like weather. He told her small facts, his terrible whistling, his straight-line handwriting, how he cuts sandwiches on a diagonal because the triangles make Jordan feel fancy. She told him she liked biology and that the librarian pretends not to see when she steals extra minutes in the graphic novel aisle. At minute 27, I stood, and we scheduled the next meeting before this one ended, because hope without structure is just a sugar rush. The results came on a Tuesday at 2:11 p.m., just as the clinic copier had a chart like a nervous dog. Probability of paternity, 99.99%. The number didn't shout. It took up the space facts are entitled to. I texted the circle. Confirmed. I finished unjamming the copier because paper at least yields to patience. We told our world deliberately. At church, we wrote a short note for Pastor Reeves to read. Our family is growing unexpectedly. We ask for your prayers and your quiet as we learn from each other. Some people know how to keep their mouths holy. Others try and fail helpfully. Geneva in produce asked Syrup Sweet, "Who's this pretty young lady?" I said, "This is Danielle. She's family." I didn't look away when I said family. The word needs a steady gaze. Andre did his work without confetti. Apology letters he didn't mail for applause but for record. A therapy fund. A savings bond in Danielle's name with Alicia as primary. Support routed through paperwork because promises evaporate. In couples therapy, Lainey, The counselor with the cardigan that looks like it has heard every kind of confession said, "The goal isn't to return to normal. Normal is what allowed the secret. The goal is an honest house. We built rules for that house. Be on time. Ask permission. Keep meetings short. Say I did, not I didn't mean to. Put Danielle's pace above everyone's pride. Don't let a child do the work an adult owes." I made a small booklet called Recipes and Names at the copy shop. Cornbread, tomato gravy, Laverne's sweet tea, 5 generations of names with 2-line stories for each. Inside the cover, in my careful hand, DNA is a door. Names are the rooms. Take your time. There's a chair for you in each one. Not everyone came towards us with their palms open. Andre's cousin Keisha posted a sneaky photo from the board game cafe. Family got surprises. Pray for Maya Memesi. Andre called her and said, "Prayer doesn't require an audience." She took it down. The echo lingered. We made our real life louder than the echo. Consistent meetings. Moderated group chat for Jordan and Danielle to trade bird facts and Lego diagrams. A block party where Danielle used a plastic fork to draw a bird in a tray of macaroni salad. And Jordan declared it a heron with too many wings and therefore perfect. We told Jordan the child-sized truth. Before you were born, Dad made a mistake that belongs to him, not to you. There is a girl named Danielle who might be connected to our family. We are going to move slowly and safely. None of this changes our love or our home. He frowned like a careful student. "Did you say sorry?" he asked his father. "Yes," Andre said. "And I'm still saying it with actions." Jordan nodded. "Okay, if she comes over, can I show her my Lego city?" "Soon," I said. "We'll make a plan." He was satisfied with the idea of a future invitation. Some children are architects by nature. Alicia's mother fell ill then, grief's quiet twin sliding into the house with hospice in its pocket. We flexed the schedule and showed up where errands live. I sat with Alicia during the consult and asked practical questions. In grief, practicality is mercy. When her mother passed, we cooked. Danielle rinsed rice, counting rinses in a whisper. 1 for dirt, 2 for pride, 3 for luck, and then added a 4th for grief. I didn't correct her. We salted the water like we meant it. The chorus concert turned the middle school gym into a temporary cathedral. We sat in the back row, aisle seats for quiet exits, Alicia's rules honored without commentary. The kids sang a winter piece about stars and a silly one about snowmen, and then a spiritual that made a woman cry into a scarf. We left on the last note with the dignity of people who follow instructions. In the parking lot, we handed Danielle carnations wrapped in brown paper. She touched the petals like they were real and said, "Thanks," in a voice that didn't want to become a spectacle. "We're proud of you," Andre said, hands in pockets like a man keeping promises to stay small. At the block party, Geneva tried to behave and almost succeeded. Pastor Reeves showed up in sandals with a baseball cap and shook Andre's hand a second longer than necessary, the extra beat where men exchange a document you can't frame. "Do right every week," he said. "No skipping leg day." He told Jordan to guard the bowl of grapes like gold and told Danielle, "We saved the good chairs for new folks," then gave her the squeakiest folding chair in the stack. I swapped it while she got lemonade. There are rituals you perform without explaining yourself. At work, Miss Patel pulled me aside. "You don't owe me any detail," she said, scissors gentle. "But if you need to trade shifts for appointments, say the word. Also, we're starting a support group for caregivers and complicated families. You'd be a beautiful co-facilitator." I said yes because naming a life complicated makes it easier to bless. We met a mediator named Carol, kind eyes, rebar spine. She helped us draft a gradual contact plan that could flex around feelings. Step 1, bi-weekly 30-minute meetings in public. Step 2, 1-hour activity with Alicia present. Step 3, short one-on-one in public. Step 4, family set with Jordan after prep. Each step had a handle on Danielle's side of the door. Money plan on paper, tutoring if needed, therapy fund, savings, no strings disguised as bows. The first time Danielle came to the house, we made puzzles on the rug. Jordan introduced his Lego bird city like a mayor. Danielle chose a piece that didn't look like it belonged and found where it did. Andre squeezed lemons and then stood in the doorway, remembering that not every frame needs him centered. When the time was up, I clapped a soft clap. 5-minute warning, I said. Ending while smiling is a skill you learn in this kind of life. The internet tried again. Someone's cousin's niece posted a blurry photo. We let it run out of breath. Alicia texted, boundaries holding. I sent back a heart that meant solid as a porch post. Repair is not a speech. It's a schedule. We hung a calendar on the fridge and let it become a quilt. Set, Danielle please. Jordan puzzles, 45-bit quiz, 2, therapy, Sue, support group, and son. Sit in the back, leave quietly. Andre taped a post-it to the coffee maker. Be decent before caffeine. I pretended it was for him and admitted it was for both of us. Our counselor Lani asked in November, Maya, what does rebuilding on your terms look like 3 months from now? I said separate bedrooms. My savings account is intact. Clear rules. I continue to lead the group. I teach Jordan that love isn't a license. It's a practice. I keep adding pages to recipes and names until it feels like an inheritance. Lani nodded. And you, Andre? He said, I accept consequences measured by calendars, not mood. I show up on time for a year. I don't center myself. I learn Danielle's favorite songs before I give advice. I answer questions with I did. Good, Lani said. Verbs. We had a picnic at the Arboretum on a day the wind minded its manners. Alicia spread a quilt faded by good years. Andre brought kites and got one up on the 3rd try and whooped like a boy. Jordan taught Danielle how to angle her wrists, and she steadied the string like she was learning a spell. For 60 seconds, we were only ourselves under an honest sky. On the drive home, Alicia stopped beside us at a light. She wants to text Jordan, she said. Bird Lego collaborations. We'll moderate like bouncers, I promised. December brought Danielle's chorus concert, carnations, and quiet exits. January arrived with black-eyed peas and a power outage that made us count down by phone glow. At midnight, Jordan banged spoons like cymbals. Danielle laughed into her sleeve. Alicia lifted a paper cup and said, to rooms with enough chairs. When the lights returned, Andre looked at all of us and said, I won't ask for an answer about us. I'll keep changing my pattern and let that be the only question. Good, I said. Let the receipts speak. I added a spare house key with a little bird charm to the back pocket of recipes and names, not a declaration, an invitation to safety. For reading, I told Danielle. For quiet, text first. She turned it in her palm like a bright fish and nodded like a girl who knows when a gift is a tool. February laid crocuses on the edge of frost. Miss Rojas sent home Jordan's family tree. He drew it like a river with tributaries, added a dotted line to Danielle, a bird expert. I taped it to the inside of the cabinet behind the salt, where I keep small certificates of survival, school notes, kind emails, church bulletins with sermons that landed right. Some people frame their victories. I tuck mine where I will see them when I cook. We had setbacks. One Saturday, Andre called from a traffic fender bender on Oak, might be 8 minutes late. He arrived at 7. Danielle nodded like the minute mattered because it does. Another day, a relative wanted to talk it out at a barbecue with the subtlety of a marching band. I told him, we are choosing repair with boundaries. If you can't respect that, you can eat on the porch. He took his plate to the porch and remembered how doors work. Alicia carries herself like a woman who learned how to mother in neighborhoods, where the world likes to test that job description. One afternoon after a visit, she lingered by her car and said, I don't know how to say thank you without making it sound like I'm asking for more. You already did, I said. You raised her steady. Now we're adding chairs. We began a support group in the clinic, 10 folding chairs, a pot of coffee that never quite tastes good, and confessions about parents who forget names and spouses, who forgot vows and the way love is a verb with laundry in it. I listened as much as I spoke. After the third session, Miss Patel hugged me. "You set a table," she said. "People came hungry. Andre and I kept separate rooms. We shared homework. One practical act of care announced out loud. He changed the oil without staging a parade. I left his favorite hot sauce with a note, for tacos and truths. We didn't confuse kindness with approval. We let it be a daily brick. For Danielle's 16th birthday, we strung thrifted lights across the backyard and sang with our inside voices until she laughed and told us to sing like we meant it. She closed her eyes to make a wish, and for a second, looked like a girl who had decided to risk joy. Later, she handed me the booklet I'd made. It had rounded corners now, loved by hands. I added a page, she said, shy. Under May, in neat print, mercy is truth with a hand on your back, guiding you forward without pushing. I traced the sentence once like a blessing. You just made your own room, I told her. Welcome. Andre knocks on door frames now. He asks, may I? Like a man who learned that rooms are their own countries and visas are earned. He sleeps in the guest room and does not ask the calendar for a magic date. Sometimes, at the hallway junction between rooms, we look at each other and I see both our ages pressed into our faces. My 40s, his 40s, the teenagers we were when we thought fidelity was just a contract instead of a practice. We are learning the skill of revision. One night he stood at the archway while I folded towels. May I say something? He asked. You may, I said. If the day ever comes, he said, I want to stand on the porch and read a list of verbs. Not vows, proofs. I want our promises to be receipts. Then keep collecting line items, I said. We'll see what the total says. People always want a headline. The truth is a grocery list. He arrives early. He doesn't post. He sends Alicia the schedule first. He asks Danielle, what do you need me to be today? And accepts that the answer might be quiet. He tells Jordan, I am sorry, and then shows him how to wash a pan without leaving the oil. He replaces flowers with calendars and grand gestures with ordinary decency. He learns the alto line of Danielle's favorite choir piece, because sometimes respecting sounds like not drowning a girl's voice out. And me? I keep my savings account, my spare chair, and my spare key on the hook. I keep the booklet by the stove so it warms while the onions sweat. I say no quickly when my no protects my peace. I say yes slowly when my yes builds us a better table. I keep loving Jordan loudly and Danielle openly and Andre cautiously. I let the wind tell me when to lift a kite and when to sit on the blanket and eat a tomato sandwich. A notification once turned my kitchen into a courtroom, my phone into a witness, and my heart into a room that needed new rules. But rules, it turns out, make a home. DNA is a door. We decided who could come through and how. The secret grew a name. The name grew a family. The family learned to tell the truth in the present tense. We are not a movie that ends in fireworks. We are a house where the lamp is left on and the key hangs on a hook, and the calendar tells a story of small faithfulnesses. Some days the wind misbehaves and the kite droops. Some days it rises on the first pull, and all four of us look up at the same patch of sky and stay very still, because silence is sometimes the only honest applause. Repair is a verb. Love is too, and every evening when I wipe the counter and rinse the cups and check the hook by the door where Danielle's key sometimes rests, I think of the sentence she wrote in the booklet we now share. Mercy is truth with a hand on your back, guiding you forward without pushing. That is the work we do here. Forward, not forced. Honest, not harsh. Daily, not dramatic. A family unhidden by name.